morning Year 2 and welcome to your Monday reading lesson. I've shared my screen and we're going to get started looking at carrying on with Flat Stanley this week. Okay, I've got a little text for you to read as your warm-up today because we're going to be focusing on vocabulary today, so I thought it'd be good to just do a little bit of retrieval as our warm-up and a little bit of finding and copying some words. So read this text, which is all about the circus. You can either pause the screen and have a go on your own or mute me, or you can listen to me read it, completely up to you this morning. So let's go. Joe was happy. He was going to the circus with his dad. There was a beautiful red and gold tent in front of them. They gave a man some money and they went inside. The whole tent was full. Joe and his father sat down in some hard seats and clapped as the show started. The first people to perform were going to try and cross a tightrope. So it's like a bit of rope that's in the air, really small, and they have to balance and walk across it. Joe kept having to shut his eyes because he was so scared that the people were going to slip and fall. That would be awful. They were swinging and climbing high above the crowd. Next, they saw people who ate fire, jugglers, and a great big elephant. At the end of the act, all the performers bowed while the whole room cheered. Did you enjoy that? Asked Joe's dad. Yes, I did, said Joe with a big grin. I think I know the job I would like when I grow up. Oh, so I think he wants to work at the circus. That would be exciting, wouldn't it? What would you do if you could work at a circus? I don't think I'd want to do the fire eating. I think I'd like to learn how to juggle, though. That would be good. Okay, first question then is a retrieval question. So who did Joe go to the circus with? Pause the screen and have a go. Fantastic. Well done if you got the answer. So we've got Joe here, and I'm going to look for the word with as well, because that's going to tell me who he went with. And Joe and somebody also might tell me as well. So I've got, he was going to the circus with his dad, Joe and his father. So my answer is going to be, very clearly, it's going to be his dad. Okay, so that's who he did. If you got it right, give yourself a tick. You can self-mark them today. I don't need to mark them. You can do them. Okay, and the next one, find and copy 2 words that describe the circus tent. So we're going to find the circus tent in the text and which 2 words describe the circus tent. Off you go. Okay, well done. So I'm going to find the key word tent. So here is tent. There, the whole tent was full. I'm going to read around here to see if it describes it. So there was a beautiful red and gold tent. So the 2 words that describe the tent are red and gold. You may have put full as well. I will let you have that if you've put full as well. So well done. Fantastic. Our brain should be nice and warmed up and we should be away ready for a session of reading. Now we're focusing on vocabulary like we always do on a Monday. We're working out the meaning of words, what they mean. We're then going to start to use them in sentences. So that's how we grow our vocabulary and we learn new words. We read them, we find them out, we learn what they mean, and then we use them. And the best way to learn new words and get a better vocabulary is to use them. So here are some strategies for working out meaning. Read the new word, find it in the text and read around it. What comes before, what comes after, what could it mean? So for example, the man was annoyed that his car had broken down. We know annoyed isn't going to be a positive word. It's going to be cross or upset or unhappy. Okay, it's not going to be a positive word because you're not happy when your car breaks down, are you? So you can kind of use the context of the sentence to help you to understand it. Have you heard the word before? So you might have heard someone else say it or you might have had someone use it and you could work it out in that context. And what other words are inside? For example, when we look at the word lucky, and in the word unlucky, we can kind of work it out what it means by using the word lucky that is inside unlucky. Okay, let's carry on. Let's start reading. So remember, the sneak thieves they'd got in through the trapdoor and they were trying to steal the most expensive painting in the world. They'd spotted Stanley and they were like, oh, this is a bit weird because the shepherdess isn't smiling. So they thought that was a bit weird, but we didn't know what was going to happen after. Let's have a go. Again, if you want to mute me and read yourself, fine. But if you want to listen to me, also fine. Just in time, Stanley managed to get a faraway look in his eyes again and to smile, sort of. So he managed to do it to smile. You're crazy, Luther, Max said. She's smiling. And what a pretty little thing she is too. That made Stanley furious. He waited until the sneak thieves had turned back to the world's most expensive painting, and then he shouted in his loudest, most terrifying voice, "Police! Police! Mr. Dart! The sneak thieves are here!" So you can see he was furious. Why was he furious? It's one of our fast, have a little think. It's going to be one of our fast questions in a minute we're going to have a look at. The sneak thieves looked at each other. "Max," said the first one very quietly, "I think I heard the sheep girl yell." "I think I did too," said Max in a quivery voice. "Oh boy, yelling pictures, we both need a rest." So they thought they were going crazy. They thought they were going mad. They think that the picture is speaking, but it actually was. But they don't think it happened. They think their mind is playing tricks because they're sleepy and they need a rest. "You'll get a rest, all right," shouted Mr. Dart, rushing in with the chief of police and lots of guards and policemen behind him. "You'll get arrested, that's what. Ha, ha, ha." So you can see straight away that the police are coming in, they're going to arrest him, they're going to take him away. They've been told off for doing this awful crime of stealing the paintings. The sneak thieves were too mixed up by Mr. Dart's joke of an arrest, like having a little nap or a little sleep, and arrested, and too frightened by the policeman to put up a fight. Before they knew it, they had been handcuffed, their hands put together in a chain, in a clip thing, and led away to jail. The next morning, in the office of the chief of police, Stanley Lambchop got a medal. The day after that, his picture was in all the newspapers. And you can see here's the newspaper hero. There's Stanley, chief of police, Mr. Dart, and his lovely medal. So it all worked out okay in the end in that chapter. So some quick fire questions. What was Stanley furious about? How did Stanley stop the sneak thieves? And what happened to the sneak thieves in the end? Pause and have a go. Okay, well done. So let's look back in the text at when Stanley was furious. So it was around this bit. So that made Stanley furious. Let's have a look back at what he made him furious. "You're crazy, Luther," Max said. "She's smiling, and what a pretty little thing she is too." So he was called pretty. He didn't want to be called pretty. So he was furious about that. He didn't want to be called pretty. How did Stanley stop the sneak thieves? So let's have a little look. How did he stop the sneak thieves? He stopped them by shouting very loudly, "Police, police!" So shouting loudly for the police. And what happened to the sneak thieves in the end? At the end, what happened to them? They were arrested and taken away. Fabulous. Well done. If you've got those all right, you can self-mark today. That is fantastic. So your task today is to work out what these words mean and then to use them in a sentence. So if you go on to assignments, this is here as an assignment. You've got to type in here what it means and how you can use it in a sentence. We've got terrifying, furious, arrested, quivery, handcuffed, and crazy. So remember to listen back in the text where they are in the sentence and see if you can use some of our vocabulary strategies to work them out. There is also a quiz on there as well to test your knowledge of the new words. So you've got a quiz and an assignment like for maths to do this morning. Okay, so you can do those for us today because we haven't got any PE today. So we would have PE today. So there's a couple of extra tasks because obviously for PE, we don't have assignments and things. All right, I look forward to reading your answers and reading your assignments, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.